Hey there and welcome to No Recipe Required. One of my favorite things to do with chicken is stuffing the breasts. I've got some boneless, skinless breasts, and I'm going to do a very simple technique where we saute off some spinach, add a little bit of cheese to make a stuffing. Then I'll show you how to open up that breast, stuff the chicken, and then saute it off. It's really a great way to add a bunch of flavor to just a regular piece of chicken and really bump up the dinner time fun, we'll say. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's make our spinach stuffing, or start making our spinach stuffing for our chicken breast. Super simple to do, really just spinach and cheese. I've got a hot pan there, add a pinch of salt along with our baby spinach, some pepper, and this spinach is just going to take a minute or so to wilt down. You don't need a whole lot for for a single chicken breast, maybe half a cup. And we'll be good. Once we have it cooked down, we'll come back. Okay, our spinach is done, so I'm just going to take it off the heat, throw it in a little bowl, and let it cool down. Once it does, we'll add our cheese. Okay, so I've got my spinach here. I just threw it on the cutting board and did a real quick chop on it. Doesn't have to be super thorough or anything like that. And I'm going to add my manchego cheese. Make it about half and half. I'm going to grab a spoon and just mix those together. I also grated the cheese, on one of the smaller sides of my box grater, just to make it a little bit easier to melt. The spinach is obviously, it's not right off the oven. I let it cool down for a few minutes. Otherwise, you're going to melt the cheese right there, which you don't really want. And then that little ball becomes our stuffing. I'm maybe going to add just a touch more salt and pepper, and then we're good to go to stuff our chicken breast. Okay, so for our spinach and manchego stuffed chicken breast, I need to make you a stuffed chicken breast. So let me show you how to do it. I've got chicken breast here. You want to use nice thick as you can. You're not going to pound this out because we're essentially going to make a little hole and a cavity in the middle. To do that, I've got the kind of the smooth side up, and I'm going to put the knife in and make a slit kind of in halfway through the chicken, essentially like that, and then using a little movement and finger, I'm going to move that tip kind of through the chicken like that, and that creates a nice little pocket right here, and that's where we're going to fill with chicken. So let me find my hole, and that chicken goes in there. You can kind of feel the knife point a little bit with your finger on top, and then, like I said, air on the side a little bit high. Don't angle the knife down, angle flat or angle up a little bit, and then just continue to work through it. I'm going at a bit of an awkward angle to show you the technique on the film, but essentially go all the way through and around, and if I've done it right, you'll see I can get my finger essentially inside the chicken all the way through that pocket. And I've created a nice little area in there with a small hole that I can stuff. So let's take our stuffing, which I've got handy, and key here is just use small little pieces and put it right in on top, and then just use your finger to kind of push it in. Get a few of those in there, and then just continue to go, stuffing more and more in there. Don't worry about the mess too much. It'll kind of go a little around, but then once you get enough in there, then you can use your finger again to kind of push it way down here to the end of the chicken. And you want to get the whole thing filled up with as much stuffing as you've got. Once I finish this, we'll come back and then we'll cook it off. Okay, let's go ahead and cook our stuffed chicken breasts. Now I've got a pan, like always, super hot or on high heat. Get it nice and hot. And I've got my chicken breast, which I've seasoned both sides with salt and pepper. Now I don't know if you notice, but right here on one I had a bit of a blowout, but that's perfectly fine. Your knife just went through. What I'm going to do is lay that side down first. And what's essentially going to happen is the pieces right around that hole, as it heats, and as it cooks will contract and it'll help close that hole. And then any cheese that's in there as well, it's going to sear against the pan and kind of prevent leaking as well. If I start it on the other side, more likely get melting in the middle and then kind of oozing out. So if you got a hole, start cooking on that side. This is going to go for about 5 minutes. Then we're going to flip it over, finish it in a 350, 375 degree oven. Okay, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes, so we'll give our chicken a little check. Now I can see around the edges, the white, opaque, done part of the chicken is starting to creep up, so that's a good indicator that we are ready to flip. So let me just, if I can grab the thing, we'll flip it over, and that's exactly what we're looking for, nice brown crust. Flip this one over as well. And you can see that's where our, like I said, blowout was. Nothing really leaked out, didn't fall apart on us or anything like that. We're going to let it go on this side now for about another 3 minutes or so. We want to get that same color and crystallization on that side of the pan. And then because the breasts, stuff like this are so thick, I like to finish it off in the oven. So I've got my oven preheated to 375, and I'm just going to move the whole pan in the oven after about 3 minutes and let it go for maybe another 5 or so, and then I'll be pretty sure that the chicken is done. If you need to, you can go ahead and use a thermometer, but with a little bit of practice, you'll be able to tell just by feel. Okay, I just pulled my chicken out of the oven. Again, that feel test, I know it's done. If you need to use a thermometer, you absolutely can. I'm going to go ahead and remove these to a cutting board just to let them rest while we make our sauce. Okay, so I've got our chicken pan on the grill. There's not much fat there, so I'm just going to leave it. We're just going to do a simple brown butter, lemon, and caper sauce. So for that, I'm going to add my butter, probably about a tablespoon there. And I'm actually going to grab a wooden spoon to make the job a little bit easier. And just immediately, that butter is going to start browning. It's also going to start letting the, the bits and pieces come up off the pan. I'm going to turn my heat down to low and just kind of keep scraping together there. Now this sauce, it's super rich, super flavorful. So, despite it being largely butter, we're not going to use a whole lot of it. So don't feel too bad about it. I've got a tablespoon of capers there. I'm going to add those, and then I'm going to give it just a good squeeze of fresh lime juice. We're going to take the heat off, and we have our sauce. Okay, let's go ahead and serve our stuffed chicken. You can see here, I've got it nicely basically cooked through. That spinach and cheese, beautifully soft and oozy in the middle. And then just a little bit of our caper sauce right over. I'm serving it with a bit of rice and peas. This is absolutely killer. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.